welcome to Meet the Mayor. This is Larry Petraccaro with Frank McGehee, Mayor of Maplewood, and we're pleased tonight to have Roger Stevens. Roger is the owner and I guess major operator of the City Workshop Men's Supply Company. We're going to talk to him a little bit about that, about Black businesses with both Frank and with Roger. So just a little bit of introduction, if I may, for Roger. The City Workshop Men's Supply Company was established by Josephina and Roger Stevens in West Orange in 2015 after both of them had successful corporate careers and decided they wanted to take a different tact, a different approach. I guess maybe they wanted to clothe themselves differently. I'm not 100% sure. But the City Men's Supply Company is a highly curated denim and lifestyle workshop with brands from all over the world. And Roger and Josephina have relocated from West Orange to Maplewood in 2019. And been happy to be here from what Roger was telling me before we got started. So Roger, maybe you want maybe expand a little bit about on that. I mean, that was a pretty brief introduction, so perhaps you can amplify on that a little bit.
Certainly. So like you mentioned, City Workshop Men's Supply Company is basically a denim shop and total lifestyle store, meaning that you can get anything that you need from head to toe, from boots to sneakers, all types of apothecary, grooming items and things like that. And everything is kind of centered around classic Americana. So everything kind of has like a workwear vibe, but all kind of done up in a more classic way where, you know, it's always going to look good. Things are going to be timeless and going to be classic. And the classic Americana part kind of goes into the whole denim aspect of it, where the denim is made the way it used to be made 50, 100 years ago on old loom machines. And a lot of the denim comes from here in the United States or Japan. You know, we actually have jeans coming out of Sweden and things of that nature now, but it all kind of fits into that whole denim classic Americana workwear style. And then on top of that, my wife and I and partner Josephina, we kind of pull our own style into it as well. So you kind of get a highly curated apparel that's kind of based on what we like within this whole denim lifestyle.
You mentioned that the denim is not just classic Americana, but is actually made the way it used to be. So does that make it more durable, or you know, what had you noticed in what was available that kind of didn't meet your standards?
So I mean that's basically it. In a nutshell, it is a little bit more durable because the denim that was made 50, 100 years ago on these old loom machines, it was called selvage denim. And selvage denim, in the interest of time, basically the way that denim is woven versus the way that denim is woven today, it's kind of wrapped around itself, which just gives it a little bit more strength and for like literally working, like when you had to go into the mine and dig for coal, or you know, if you were a cowboy or something like that. So we actually have denim that ranges in weight from 11 ounces, which is relatively light, to 21 ounces, which is some really thick stuff that guys that ride motorcycles like to wear. And when we talk about ounces, it means like if you take a yard of that particular fabric and weigh it, that's what it'll weigh. So
A yard.
Yes, so it's definitely more durable. And selvage denim, according to what some people say, is only like 10% of the denim in the world, because there's not a lot of those loom machines around anymore that makes that type of denim. And a lot of those loom machines are actually found in Japan right now. So that's why they say some of the best denim comes from Japan, because the Japanese have a certain affinity for the way things were made in the United States during World War II through the 60s. And once they got hold of those types of things, they just kind of perfected what we were making here in the United States. And right now it's held in high esteem in Japan. And again, that's where some of the best denim comes from, Japan.
Have you had to go there, or I guess you have to be on the phone with them on occasion or something?
So I have not been to Japan yet. My partner and wife has been to Japan.
Okay.
We were planning to go to Japan in 2020, but for obvious reasons, we couldn't go. But we do actually, like being in this business, we actually do have a lot of friends that live in Japan, dealing directly with these Japanese companies. So I can't wait to go, because by the time I get a chance to go there, I know people there. They'll show me where to go, where to eat, where to shop. So that's something that I'm definitely looking forward to.
Oh, good. That has to add another element in more, not just interest, but gives you more to work with, I suppose, when you know things better like that. Mm-hmm. Whereabouts in Maplewood is the shop?
Our shop is located at 92 Baker Street on, it's like right off the corner of Baker and Maplewood. So you can, if you're getting some pizza at Arturo's, just look diagonal right there.
Okay, so we can actually bring our pizza, shop and eat at the same time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The pandemic obviously had you had a problem in 2020 trying to get to Japan. Has it had any other sorts of impacts on the business? How have you coped with that?
So it has definitely had an impact on the business, both positive and negative. The negative is that because our store is very tactile, we like people to come in and touch and try and feel things on. We couldn't let the people come in like we normally would. And, even though we have an online business, we really look at our business as brick and mortar. And then, anything that we get online is gravy. So that was tough, not allowing people to come into the shop. But how we pivoted is we started doing curbside pickup and local deliveries and things of that nature. And, prior to, or I should say after we had to close the store in March, we were able to start letting like 1-2 people in the store at a time if you're in a pod. And, the people were really receptive to that because they understood what was going on. And, it actually became beneficial, especially around holidays, because when our first holiday season in Maplewood in 2019 was insane. Like the store you couldn't really give that attention that we're used to giving people, like the one-on-one attention. Because when you come to our shop, it's really like a discovery store, and every brand has a story, and we like to tell you the story because we know most of the owners of the brands, and there's a lot that goes with, what you're purchasing. And we want you to understand why you're paying what you're paying for a certain thing, or understand the manufacturing of the product and things of that nature. So jumping back to the holidays, we couldn't really give people that type of attention that we felt like they deserved. And it was really phenomenal, but at the same time, it was anarchy. So cut to 2020, when we were only allowing one person in the store at a time, we were able to give people that personal touch while the other folks waited outside patiently, which was unbelievable. And it just made it work better. So I think we're going to follow that same paradigm as we go into this holiday, even after everybody's vaccinated and things like that. Just kind of have it like 1 or 2 people at a time so that they can get the time and attention that they deserve.
Yeah, Larry, it's great. I mean, listening to Roger talking about December holidays of 19, and I remember like my first time in the store. I think it was the time right after we did the ribbon cutting, and I remember walking in there and like feeling so comfortable because like you go to some of these big stores, and not to say these are on the level a Roger Josephina store, but you go to like these Banana Republic, J. Crew kind of stores, and but they're not intimate. They feel plastic. You go into, it's like walking into like a museum of culture, of the culture of clothes. And I remember you had those leather biker jackets and the history of those jackets and how rare they were, and they were only made in New Jersey. I remember, and also there's a community. I won't say a cult, but there's a community that Roger and Josephina have, because when I was in there, one of the times in there, and I've been a handful of times, you had patrons or customers from West Orange that were just coming in to see what was going on here, buying gear, and you and Josephina had a great way of like engaging everyone, letting everyone breathe and being thoughtful. And so I don't go in there as much as I used to, because my wife goes in there now, hooks me up. So it's fun. Yeah, I thought about wearing some of the gear today, like to kind of go over the top, and I did it, at least on camera. if I got the sweats on right now, no joke, because it's clothes that I can wear. And for example, the Soma Living shoot that we did, I'm wearing all City Workshop. I don't know if you knew that or not. So, not the sports jacket. The sports jacket, it was actually, I got that in Hong Kong, but when I went out there years ago. But I'm wearing a black, one of those black like flannels that I purchased there, and the denim jeans that I'm wearing are I bought at City Workshop. It's a heavy denim. I'm rocking City Workshop in that Summer Living.
We definitely appreciate that, without a doubt.
Well, the 21-ounce denim, I guess that's the one that you must have been talking about, Frank. Now, how large community? How far does your marketing area extend? Roger, it's more than just Maplewood. Apparently, it sounds like you've got a loyal following coming in from other places.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like, it's still unbelievable to me. Like, so the denim community is huge. It's all over the world. So not only do we have people locally, we ship clothes all over the world, because there are people that are heavily invested in getting their salvage denim, and they are avid, they're basically called denim heads. And yeah, and it's like we get people that come from all over, like upstate New York, just from everywhere, because we sell brands that you can't find locally. So there's only a few stores in the vicinity, and I'm talking about, we rival a lot of shops in the city with the brands that we sell. And people will bypass the city and come to our shop because they don't want to go to the city. And this was pre-COVID. Yeah. We would get people coming from the city to come to our shop. I remember one story in particular when we were still in West Orange. I think at that time we were closing maybe like at 7, and this guy closed the store at maybe like 6 o'clock. He was like, "Do you sell such and such brand?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Well, I need to come there and try on these pants." And I'm like, "Well, where are you coming from?" He's like, "I'm coming from the Bronx. I'll be there in a half hour." I'm like, "All right, if you say so." I didn't think he would make it. 6:30, this guy comes in, he's like, "Hey, I called from the Bronx." And he came, he saw the pants that he had never seen before. Like, a lot of times people are seeing these things for the first time. It's like they're seeing it online, they're seeing pictures, but they've never actually seen it. And he was able to get the pants and buy a whole bunch of other stuff, and he's been a customer ever since.
We're going to have to take a break, but I'd like to follow up on a couple of things you just talked about when we come back. So if you guys will stay with us out there, we'll be back in a minute.
Dad, we need to talk. If you're not going to listen to me, who will you listen to?
Jeffrey.
Is that Marcia Gay Harden?
I think so.
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain is changing.
That's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age.
Really? Oh!
Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov.
Hi, and welcome back to Meet the Mayor. It's Larry Petraccaro with Frank McGehee, the mayor of Maplewood, and Roger Stevens. Roger, along with his wife Josephina, is the owner of the City Workshop Men's Supply Company, which was originally established in West Orange, has apparently retained some West Orange customers, but is now here in Maplewood. And just before the break, Roger was relating a story about a late night visit he had from someone from the Bronx who was determined, I guess, to get a particular brand. So, but before that, Roger, you mentioned that you have customers around the world. You have people that come in, that because of the type of brands that you and the quality of the clothing that you sell. How do you market? How did these people find out about you? And have come to you for this kind of a thing?
There's a couple of things. The best thing, and one of the things I did not anticipate when we started selling these brands, is what's known as the stockist list. So just take, for example, if one of our brands is called 316. 316, they have their own flagship store in Nolita. They are a denim brand. They have their own website. But if you go and look up the stockists, you'll see City Workshop Men's Supply Company, Maplewood, New Jersey. So that's how people find us, because people want these brands. And it's like, specifically with denim, you need to try it on. And people are looking, and we get calls all the time. People call and say, yeah, I'm looking for this brand that says you're in Maplewood. Is that correct? The answer is yes, we are in Maplewood. So first, it's a wonderful surprise to them that we're so close. And then secondly, they just can't believe it. And that is one of the things I did not anticipate, being on the stockist list. The other thing is social media, Instagram, Facebook, but for us specifically, Instagram. And believe me, my wife and I, we were not on any social media before we opened up the shop. Facebook, Instagram, none of that stuff. But we had to get on there and learn it and believe. That's another thing I can't believe. Like now, we will take a picture wearing something, and the next day people are in the store. Oh, I saw this thing you were wearing. Where is it? And it consistently happens. And as we grow, it happens more and more and more. And the other thing that's really great about the brands that we sell is that they're smaller brands, and they do things like drops. They do limited drops. They do timely drops where there's a pair of pants that's coming out in 2 weeks. So there's this whole revving up of the community from the brand, and they say, these stores are going to have this. So there are times when a pair of pants or a shirt or whatever it is dropping, just say August 21st. By the time we wake up August 21st that morning, everything is sold out. All I have to do is go in and pack it up and send it, because people are waiting for this stuff.
Wow.
So all those different things help in getting the word out. And the longer we're around, the more that we enhance our social media, the more people know us. And then the other thing is that the community itself is small as it relates to the retailers. Somebody mentioned it to me the other day, and I never really thought about it. There's probably less than 100 stores that are like ours that specifically cater to like the denim community in the United States. There's stores all over the world that do this, but in the grand scheme of things, it's still a small community. So people are heavily invested again in these brands, but you're hard pressed to find them. So when they find a spot that works for them, It's almost like you have a loyal customer for life. And even if we sell something that another store doesn't sell, or vice versa, we tell them, because we also are a small community and we kind of know each other, like from commiserating online, or we go to trade shows, we meet because we have a common interest. So we know we help each other out like that. And although we sell some of the same things, everybody has their own particular way of approaching what they sell, even if it is the same.
You know what's beautiful about that story, Roger, is that he just talks about that culture, that subculture of clothes and quality clothes, and and people who understand fashion, and being one of the few, in the game, if you will. What opportunity for our community, for our town, because you're driving traffic, and the type of, in my opinion, the cool type of traffic we want to our town. And listen, and that helps all, a high tide raises all boats. They come in, they get their gear, or they buy some gear, they're picking up the gear. Then you're right. Then they go get they go around the corner and get a cup of coffee from Abel Baker, down the street from Palmer's, or, there's a lot of food spots, as we know, so, it's an example of how a successful, amazing business, which I'm also proud that's Black owned, of course, Black and Spanish owned too, that helps increase the charm and the stability of our village, right? Unique across multiple municipalities. And it's a great story. And just being able to there's no question COVID has impacted all of us. We talked about that many times, but to find the right strategy, leveraging social media as you articulated with Instagram, which on the end positions you where you're able to, to survive, maintain where it is. That's great. What a story, right? And that's what we want. We want all businesses to emulate the story which you just, articulated.
That was interesting, and the way that I guess the community of stores, it didn't occur to me until Frank just mentioned it, but that community of stores probably makes each of you stronger. But each of you in particular in Maplewood, make Maplewood stronger, which is kind of a nice, a nice little bit of synergy there. The decision-making process that you made to A, start the store in West Orange, and B, move it to Maplewood. I probably would never have the ambition or be willing to take the risks that you and your wife took to start a business. I mean, you had careers. You decided you wanted to do something different. I mean, it's really admirable to you go after something you love, but there must have been some business making type decision that went through it. What was that process for you, Roger?
So my career was in the financial industry, and I worked in it for 20 plus years. And I would say the first 19 years were great. And then, after, I was working at Morgan Stanley, and I was sitting at my desk, and my job was hard. And I was used to, because I try to make a long story short, I worked for about 4 or 5 different firms over my career. But the firm that I worked for the longest, I worked there for 11 years, and then they got downsized, and I had to, and this was in 2011, and I found myself looking for a job. Now, I was blessed and I was able to find another job rather quickly. But what I realized, I was a guy of a certain age, and I felt like I was working harder than I had worked. Like when I first started working, I felt like I was working that hard again. And I was just like, I can't do this for another 15 years. So literally in January of 2015, I sat at my desk and I opened up a marble notebook, and I was just like, okay, what do I want to do? And Josephine and I had thought about a lot of things in the past, just about doing some type of small business or whatever the case may be. But just in the interest of time, it came to me to open up some type of denim store. And I just started writing down brands and things of that nature because, Josephina and I had already considered ourselves personal shoppers for ourselves. Our closets are out of control. Just out of control. And I said to myself, if I write this stuff down, I don't want to look at this thing a year from now and say, oh, I should have did this. So once I started writing it down and I talked to Josephina about it and she was with it, then there was no stopping me from there. We just skip ahead. I started writing in January 2015. By September 2015, I put in my resignation and we opened the store in October 2015 in West Orange. Now, there was a lot of stuff that happened in between there, a lot of decisions that had to be made. But once we made the decision, and the thing that really made it real, a couple of things. We were ordering clothes before we even had a store. Like we had boxes of clothes in our dining room. We had no storefront. But the thing that made it really real was when we signed that lease in July of 2015 in West Orange. And it was just like, okay, this is really happening. And at that time, Josephina had been working with the contractor. She was GCing the work in the store. And I'm still on my job. And I'm like calling and finding out and she's calling me, telling me what's going on. And it just dawned on me, it's like, I can't be halfway in this. I'm going all the way or I'm not going to do it. And that was another conversation we had about, leaving a good paying job with benefits. And it was hard, but we believed in what we were doing.
I admire you for that. We probably have less than 30 seconds left. So maybe if you can press it into that, what made you choose Maplewood?
So the short story is Maplewood chose us.
Ah, neat.
Yeah, we were actually doing okay in West Orange, but we were actually getting a lot of guys coming from Maplewood shopping at the store. And we knew a few business owners in Maplewood. And it was actually Marichelle, who owns Muse on Baker Street. She contacted Josephina and I and said, there's this space on the block that I think you guys should take a look at. And when we looked at it, all of a sudden it just made sense. It was like a no-brainer. And
well, Roger, thank you. I'm glad you did. I'm afraid it looks like we're out of time, though. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for that story. And hope the guy from the Bronx comes back. So thank you for joining us on Meet the Mayor.
Thank you so much.